Hello, what's going on? Hopefully you're having a wonderful day. Today, in this video, I'm just going to be talking about the small amount of information that we know about the next Danganronpa game so far, and then move into my speculation and personal thoughts and, opinions about what the game will be. So first of all, what we do know, a bunch of sources around the internet. This has been around for like a little while. I think the articles mostly came out in November. But Spike Chunsoft, the company behind, the video game development company behind Danganronpa, is hiring staff for Danganronpa modeling and texture creation. And it's listed as a PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita action game. So the action section is action etc. Obviously they don't want to reveal everything about it because that would spoil it basically. But it's action and texture modeling and texture creation. That kind of suggests that it would be not the typical Danganronpa game, and definitely a spin-off. I think it's safe to say that whatever this turns out to be, it'll be a spin-off. Obviously, the first thing that comes to mind is Ultra Despair Girls 2, which was actually teased in Danganronpa 3. Or not teased, I mean, you can see it as teased. Basically, in the second game, they had their own version of showing the poster that I'm sure you've all seen for Ultra Despair Girls, and you should go buy the game. In Danganronpa V3 they did it a bit differently. In a poster, you can find a poster basically in one of the rooms during an investigation, I'm pretty sure, and you can find a little teaser image for what might be Ultra Despair Girls 2, but it's a lot less subtle than the original promotion in the game. So I feel like it's not as substantial, and it also the narration in the game teases that, oh, that's not realistic, or it's probably just one of Monokuma's pranks, which I probably think is more accurate. I don't think there's going to be an Ultra Despair Girls 2 because they said that they were closing up the series with the anime, which makes sense. It's called the end of Host Peak Academy. It's the end of that era. And even though they did contradict that when you first went into V3 and you saw that it was saying the story will continue, it didn't really, because the story did continue, but it closed off even further. It closed off the original trilogy, the original Host Peak Academy series, because that was basically a piece of fiction even within the V3 universe. So now that the characters have escaped from the V3, my theory, or my best guess for what this game could be about, is an Ultra Despair Girls type of game, but centering around the survivors of V3. So that's Maki, Shuichi, and Yumeno. I'm pretty sure her name is the mage. I think those two characters could work because you've got an assassin and you've got someone who does magic, even though she's not actually supposed to be able to do magic. Hey, maybe it turns out she does. But no, the big main reason why I think it would be centered around them is because the one thing that we don't know about Danganronpa at this point right now, based off the ending of V3 and now that we've tied up the anime and everything, is the world of V3 outside of that killing game. Who the people really were before they became fictitious basically, and the characters for the killing game, who were they in the real world? Normal high school students, but sure, they must have still had lives, and they must have family, and there must be things in the V3 world to explore. Given that it's a world that is stated in V3 as they've never been to war or anything like that, they've never experienced some despair, well, there you go, there's a plot right there. First Despair, Danganronpa 4, First Despair. But I think it will center around that world, that universe, and those three characters. Could be kind of weird, but that seems like the only place you could go, because once you finish that game, everything is pretty much tied together except for exploring that world and figuring out what that world has to offer. Also, I think the information that we know about so far that I said in this video kind of supports that idea, my theory, because I don't know, as most people know, I think Danganronpa producer Yuichiro, I hope that's how you say his name, Yuichiro Saito left Spike Chunsoft I think also last November, at the same time those other articles were coming out. And he was one of the main producers for V3 and the Danganronpa series in general. So I think him leaving, plus them having to hire new people for modeling and texturing, kind of suggests that they don't have the resources they need right now to do it. They need to create those resources, and they do have a lot of the resources for the material that was in Danganronpa, Ultra Despair Girls already, so they could maybe, expand off of that and use that as a basis. But if they are creating completely new material like Shuichi, a 3D model for Shuichi and those other characters, then that would make a lot of sense why they would need some more, staff team to come in and help work on it basically. As for the plot and structure of the game, it would make a lot of sense if Yumeno and Maki handled the action side of the game, that sort of genre, and then Shuichi handled more of the narrative part of the story, and something horrible would happen to the V3 universe basically that they'd have to solve, or they'd be in hiding and the world could be wanting to kill them for revolting against. Well, probably wouldn't want to kill them because that's not what the message of V3 was and the ending suggests, but there could definitely easily be some conflict that happens in that world because, as it's stated, it's supposed to be fully peaceful, so it's not hard to imagine that something eventually, especially now after the Killing Game, could go wrong in that world. Alright, so thanks for hearing me out. If you have any ideas of your own about what the next game might include or what the plot might be, go ahead and comment it below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!